If you're a beginner and you feel like you're struggling in Madden, after watching this video, I guarantee you will be winning more games. Now, I'm going to do things a little bit differently than I normally do in my beginner tips videos. I want to kind of show you the mindset of how you want to be playing as a beginner on offense and on defense. If you want to know specifically about the basic controls and different mechanics, I've done that video every single year. I'll link the one I did last year below because it's all still relevant this year. But this time around, I kind of want to show you what you could do to actively get better on the field right now. So let's talk about how to play offense. Now, we're going to be using the gun trips tight end formation for this demonstration because I think it's an offense that anybody can run. If you want to use the exact plays I'll be using, here are the playbooks up on the screen where you'll be able to find this formation with these exact plays. I recommend the Jaguars. It's one of the best playbooks in the game, but the Commanders and the Chargers playbooks are also really good as well. The first play we're going to look at is the play curl flat. Now, as a beginner, a lot of times people go on the field without a purpose. They call random plays or coach suggestions. That's not going to help you get better at the game. You need to go out on the field and know exactly what you're looking for, and I'm going to make it simple for you so that anybody can do this. Your main goal should be getting the ball out quick. If you hold the ball even just a little too long, you're going to take sacks, you're going to get hit. The defensive line's block shed very good in this game, so you need to be able to get the ball out quick, but you need to be in the right plays that allow you to do that. Another thing beginners don't do a lot is hot route, and that is very crucial to making plays a lot better. And with a lot of plays, you simply will just need one hot route to completely change how good the play is. So on this play, for example, when we break the huddle, we want to make one hot route. We want to put our tight end on a streak, and that's just going to help clear things out because we're really going to be focusing on our running back out of the backfield and the B receiver on his post. Then on the left side of the field, we have a basic curl flat concept that we can look to if these two routes somehow aren't open. Now, to hot route our tight end, we press Y or triangle, select his icon, and then we push up on the left stick. Now he's on a streak. This is simple. It's beginner. You can do it very quickly, and you can snap the ball quick, which will also give you an advantage on offense. The first thing we're looking for on this play is our running back out of the backfield, and he will be open the far majority of the time. And we want to hit him just like this. If he's open, we throw the ball, and look at that. We got about 12 yards just throwing to our running back out of the backfield. This is what a beginner offense looks like, but also this is something that even advanced players will do as well. If your first read is there, you take it. You don't wait. You don't always look for the deep route. Because a lot of people would say, I want to throw that post, and that post is very good, and sometimes we will throw it. But if our running back is wide open for a guaranteed 4 to 5 yards, why should we ever throw it or look anywhere else? This allows us to get the ball out quick, not take sacks, and we keep the ball in a manageable down and distance. Now, the great thing about a play like this is it's beginner friendly because you're really just focusing mainly on the two routes of the running back and the B receiver on his post, and they both will do a good job at beating both man defenses and zone defenses. That's another thing you want to be mindful of. Sometimes you might come out in a play that's really only equipped to beat man or only equipped to beat zone, and if they're in the opposite defense, you're going to be completely out of luck. You want to have routes on your plays that are capable of beating both. Now, the running back beats zone defenses simply because no matter what zone they're in, they just simply drop too far back, as you could see with those deeper routes, and it allows us to hit him underneath for easy yards. But even if the defense is in man, you'll see he beats his man defender easily and actually gets even more yards. Now, where the post route really comes into play is if you're playing someone and they say, you know what, I'm going to start manually covering the running back, which is what any decent player will do. They're not going to let you throw the running back every play. Well, if they're doing that, then you throw the post behind it. This works very well together. Hey, really quickly, if you're getting value out of this video, I would just ask that you subscribe and turn the bell icon on. That way you can stay up to date on all the best Madden tips all year long to help you win more games. It helps the channel a ton, and you can always unsub at any time if you get tired of the videos. The reason this concept works is because it's kind of a high-low. We have the running back low, although he will get higher down the field the longer we wait, but we're throwing him as a quick read. So if they're clamping down on him or they're shading their defense, for example, sometimes people might just shade their defense down. Now, even with the shade down, a lot of times you can still throw the running back. That's what's kind of good about this route and how the game plays this year. So shading down alone isn't really going to stop that running back. They're going to have to manually come down here and stop this with a linebacker, which again allows you to throw this post behind it. And the reason we streak the tight end and why I talk about having that one hot route to help out is because this forces other coverages to respect him as well. So that is what allows the post to come open. Now, if we don't throw either of those guys, and at this point, if we're not sacked yet, we can look to the left and we see that we have another high-low out here with a curl flat concept. If you're facing a zone defense, most typical zone defenses are going to play back to the curl route, meaning that you can dump it down to the flat underneath. And look, you're not going to get a ton of yards. You might get 4 to 5, but that's okay. 4 yards a play means you will get a first down every 3 plays. That is all you need. And when you get that in your head, that's all you need is 4 yards a play, instead of looking for 20 plus yards every time, you will be a lot better in this game. Now, if they do get aggressive and let's say they're shading their defense down, what you'll notice now is that flat won't be open, but the curl route behind it will be open for a deeper gain. So we have 2 concepts into this one play with one quick hot route that allows you to have a high-low over the middle and a high-low on the outside of the field as well. You have 2 different spots of the field where you should have one of these guys open. And as long as you just make your quick reads and don't hold the ball too long, you will have success with this play versus man or zone defense. Really quickly, I did want to mention that I also have a membership that I offer where I post all of my ebooks and my highest level offensive and defensive strategies. So if you want to know exactly how to run higher level offenses, if you want me to walk you through exactly what I do in my games, I have all of that covered for you, so there's no guesswork on your part. And for a limited time, you can get 50% off of a month or yearly membership with code 50OFF. Link is in the pinned comment below. The next play we're going to look at for our beginner offense is drive post. Now with this play right here, we're going to make one hot route as well. We're going to put our running back on a flat route by pressing Y or triangle, selecting his icon, and then going up on the right stick. Now we're looking to hit our short routes as always. We're looking for Y over the middle. We're looking for RB, our running back, in the flat, or the X receiver who's going to trail just nicely behind the Y receiver. It's going to create kind of like a little bit of a trail technique there. And then we do have 2 deeper routes if we have to progress there, but we only go there if we have to. Those are going to be 2 good man beating options, but also they still provide that high-low that I was talking about before. We've got our low routes underneath, and then these routes go a little bit deeper. So we snap the ball, we see Y's open, we take him, we get yards up the field. Drag routes are very, very good. They stay underneath zones really good, and they will beat man a decent amount of the time as well. You could see here's a man defense, and the ball got knocked there, but you could see that our receiver was, a few steps in front of the cornerback, so we would have got yards. Here is man again. You see that he's beating him, and we're turning it upfield. So again, if our first read is open, we hit it every time, and our first read is always going to be our quick read. We cannot hold the ball in this game. Look, we see our running backs open. Okay, we go up the field. Now, he got a really bad spin catch there, so we only got about 3 yards, but he should have got 4 to 5. But that's okay. Not every play is going to go perfect. Okay, we see X is open. We hit him. On that play there, if we go to the replay here, we could see that our drag initially, he didn't really have much of a step. We could have still actually threw that, but we saw that the guy behind him was just so much more open. I mean, he's multiple yards in front of his defender, whereas the drag underneath, he's, about just a step in front of his. So, hey, why not? Why not hit the guy that's more open? But our eyes are focused kind of on this first level of the field where our running back is, and then our 2 guys coming on these drag routes. That's where we're looking. So you want to use your peripheral vision as much as possible, because if you see that one guy's more open than the other, that's who you want to hit. But our main goal here is just to take these easy routes. Okay, Y's got him beat a lot more that time. And look, I mean, we're catching and running against man defense for like 15 yards there, maybe even more than that. So this is very simple offense that anybody can run. Are these guys going to be this open every single play? No, but you could see we're just running it against random defense, and it is open. Now, where does the user come into play? Well, a lot of times what a user is going to do is they are going to run with this guy here. Okay, and then that's when you try to hit the guy on the back end. Of course, we just got screamed at there by the defense, but we'll do it again. See, like, okay, he's running with him. All right, we hit X on the back end. That is why these types of plays work. You don't want to call random plays, because not every random play is just built to have the maximum success. The reason a play like this works is because if we force, a user defender here, let's just go to a zone. If we force this guy to say, hey, I'm going to run with Y, well, then he can't stop X coming behind him. Or if he's saying, I'm going to run low, then again, the B receiver could get open behind him. I'm running low. Okay, well, the B is going to be wide open now. The routes play off of each other really well. It's just up to you to make the right read. And that is something that even as a beginner can be hard at times. And it's going to just come with practice. The more you run the same plays, the better you get at making the reads, the better you get at kind of looking out of your peripheral vision and seeing that, hey, like, I'm not looking directly at this guy, but I can tell that he's got a step on his man. And that's why I would say as a beginner too, it is very crucial to try to stick with a few plays. A lot of people will say, oh, you're spamming plays, you're cheesing. No, you are trying to master your plays and your offense. If you're running 30 different plays in a game, you can't master a play. You're just running random plays versus who knows what on defense, and you're never able to get proper reps to know that, hey, I've run this play 1,000 times. There's no defense you could throw at me where I'm not going to know how to react because I've been in every situation with this play. And when you do that with 3 or 4 plays, you've now built a little scheme together where you can rotate these plays that you feel really good with, and then you can slowly maybe start adding some more onto it. Now, I do want to go to a man defense really quickly here just to show you that you will have some pretty consistent luck with the corner and the post versus man defense. As you can see, you're going to have to pass lead on those type of routes. So if you don't know how to pass lead, you're going to want to use the left stick when you're passing. So right there, I am pushing the left stick all the way to the right here because I want to make sure I'm putting this out in front of him. And I go over this in my beginner tips video from last year that I'll link below when I go over just all of the mechanics of the game. But you don't want to just throw this regularly. You want to make sure you're holding the left stick to the direction he's going, which is the right, because we want to put this in front of him and we don't want to let the defender have a chance to make a play. Same thing over here. If we were to throw this post, you could see this post is also a good man beater. We were going to lead this to the right as well because we want to lead it into the open space, into the direction he's running away from the defender. Now, the last couple of things with this before we move on to something else is you do need to keep him honest with the run. So we're going to use the inside zone for this. This is a good shotgun run, and this is crucial to keeping the defense honest. You don't have to get a lot of yards with this all the time because you're in shotgun. Sometimes you're going to get good yards, sometimes you won't. However, this is going to make it to where they have to respect you. And this is a very simple run that literally anybody can use. The main thing that I'm going to preach when you're running the ball, whether it's in shotgun or under center, do not hold down turbo, which is the right trigger or the R2 button. Do not hold that down in the backfield. Just literally keep your finger or your thumb on the left stick. That's it. That's how you move your player. You don't need to worry about turbo until you get into wide open field and you're trying to pull away. If you hold turbo as soon as you get the ball, it's going to cause the defense to block shit. Right here, this is where I hit turbo, right here. Now I'm trying to pull away. I'm out of that first level. I'm trying to get as many yards as possible. But when I'm in the backfield and maneuvering through these blocks, I'm just using the left stick, and that's going to make your run game a lot better. And the last thing we want to use here is the RPO alert bubble. These RPO bubble screens are really good. Now, this is a run play built in, so if we do nothing, he will just hand the ball off, and you can do that. I like the inside zone better than this, though. I think the inside zone as default is a better run, but you can see this can still be a good run as well. But what you want to read on this is the bubble screen on the outside. So right here, I want you to kind of notice how the defense is set up. Notice that there are 2 defenders lined up over the X and Y receiver, but there's no defender lined up over B. That means there's a good chance B is going to be open on this bubble screen. So what we want to do is you want to press the B or circle button before you snap the ball to kind of zoom your camera out so you can make sure you got a good view. And then when you snap the ball, okay, we could see he's open. We're throwing him the ball. And look at this easy yardage we get. This is very annoying and hard for a lot of people to stop. We're going to zoom out here. Now we see this time there's a defender that is lined up slightly over Travis Hunter here, but that still doesn't necessarily mean he's going to defend him. We snap the ball and we could see he doesn't really react right away to it, and we're able to still pick up yards. So you do want to read the defense and just kind of see how they're lined up, because for example, you know, if they are in a situation where they're lined up like this, where he's like pressed in front of his face, yeah, I probably wouldn't throw it here. I'd probably just hand the ball off, or you can audible by pressing the X or square button, and then we can go say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to audible to my regular inside zone here, or I can audible to my other 2 pass plays if we put them in our audible and say, you know what, let's not worry about throwing the bubble screen there because it looks like it's going to be defended. And here's a good example. Look exactly how they lined up right there. Nope, I'm just going to let this ball get handed off now, and I'm going to just try to get whatever I can. Even if it's not a lot of yards, I don't want to throw it into a situation that looks covered. Now here, that defender is over him, but he's backed off and he's a little bit to the inside. So I look at this and say, hey, I might be able to hit this, and yes, I can. He doesn't react right away to it, and we pick up easy yards. So what I just showed you as a beginner is just a very easy way to scheme. You've got 2 good pass plays with easy reads that as long as you run them correctly, you can succeed. You mix that in with the run, and then you mix in a bubble screen. You've now given the defense multiple different things to think about, and it's going to be a lot harder for them to stop you. Now, the last thing you want to do for offense is when you open up your trips tight end formation here, or with any formation that you run, but if you're just looking for something to run this offense, you open up your trips tight end formation at the start of a game, you press the left trigger or L2 button, that brings up your audibles. You're going to want to take this play out, and you're going to want to put the plays that we practiced in here. So you're going to want to put your drive post play. Inside zone should already be an audible. Verticals is another audible that this is a good play, but we just didn't really break it down today, so maybe you might want to leave that in there. But we'll take this PA play out, and we'll put the RPO alert bubble in here. Now, if you do this one time, this should stay saved like this forever. So you want to do this in the first game that you play. So you have your drive post, inside zone, you have verticals, and you have RPO alert bubble in your audibles. And then what you do is you come out in the play curl flat every single time, because this is your best play, this is your bread and butter. But at any time now, if you want to audible, you press X or square, and you can see you have drive post, inside zone, verticals, RPO bubble. So if I want to go to drive post, I can either press the X button, or, you know, if I'm moving with my D-pad here, I can just highlight it and press the A or X button that way. Either way, now you can see we're in drive post. Okay, I want to go to my RPO play. I press X or square, and then I can press the RB or R1 button. Now we've got our RPO. So now you have all of your plays at your disposal, and you can kind of see if the defense is showing you something. If you come out in the play curl flat and you notice like, hey, the defense is just like, they're kind of in tight, there's nobody out there on Travis Hunter, you know what? I'm going to audible to the RPO alert bubble. And I'm going to take advantage of this because I noticed that they lined up in a way that he's going to automatically be pretty much wide open. Or maybe you notice that the defense is just really spread out for some reason. Like they're just worried about trying to stop your receiving options, and you say, hey, inside's open. Let me audible to my inside zone. I mean, this looks like free money. This is taking candy from a baby. Why not? So now you have all these plays at your disposal. You can read what the defense is doing and take advantage. Now we get to the defensive side of the ball, and as a beginner, this is often the hardest part of playing Madden, but it doesn't have to be that difficult. I'm not saying you're going to get all the stops in the world, but I will show you how to pretty much play bend don't break and give yourself a chance to get stops. Now, as a beginner, this is how I would recommend playing defense. We're going to kind of do a set it and forget it defense because as a beginner, you don't want to make a whole lot of adjustments. We're going to go to the nickel double mug. Every playbook should have some version of double mug. They all work pretty much the same. And the main two coverages we're going to look at are the cover 3 sky and the Tampa 2. So we'll start with Tampa 2, and what we want to do is we're going to always run a Texas 4-man stunt because this is going to give you the opportunity to bring pressure without having to bring extra rushers. So we're going to go to this Tampa 2. We're going to hold down, in my case, the Y button, hold it down, and then that's going to pull up your stunt menu. Go up on the D-pad one time, and you go down to the Texas 4-man. Now from here, once you're on the field, there's only one adjustment you have to make, and that is spreading your defensive line, which is left on the D-pad, up on the left stick. That's it. Anybody could do this. You can do this while they're still breaking the huddle. And then you're going to want to user somebody. Now, this is the part that people get scared with, but as a beginner, you simply just have to kind of bite the bullet and get better with this. So we're going to take one of these guys here. Typically in the Tampa 2, I'm going to take the guy that's not in the mid read. So you can see that this guy here, his zone says mid read. We typically want to leave him alone because he's going to drop further back. He's going to play a pretty pivotal role for us. So we're going to take the opposite guy here. There's two linebackers here hovering in the gap. We're going to take the one that's not the mid read. Notice where his coverage is. His coverage is here. We want to make sure that we just watch this area. That is where his area is, and we don't want to be running off. Now, if you're an advanced player, you know, you might try to bait and run in different areas, but as a beginner, you just want to focus on saying, I'm going to stay where I need to stay, which is right here. And your job is, if you see one of those drag routes or a slant route coming into your area, you just want to get in front of it and try to get action on the ball. Try to go for an interception by pressing Y or triangle, or just try to get in the way. Just simply being in the way, because if you let the computer control it, what's going to happen is this guy's going to drift too far back, and just like I was showing you on offense, you could just dink and dunk underneath every play. You don't want that. You want to keep him in the area to stop some of those routes. So we snap the ball, and I'm saying, okay, I see Y. I'm standing in front of Y, and look how quick our pressure came in. As a beginner, it doesn't get any easier than this. You didn't have to do much, and look at the pressure you generated. Now, if they were to block a running back or something, sure, they could, help pick this up. But if they're not, hey, they had a running back open in the flat, but if they didn't see it right away, you got pressure. So again, we're going to spread that D line. We're going to pull this guy back a little bit. and we are just going to stay where we have to stay. Okay, I've got Y. That's my responsibility. And if they don't see the other two guys that are coming open, that's on them. But we want to defend the short stuff because we know that's what other people want to throw, because that's what we want to throw too. Now that brings us to the next coverage, which is the cover 3 sky. And it's going to be the same thing. We can do our stunts at the line. We're going to spread our D line. But the other thing we want to do with this is we do want to shade our coverage down, which is Y or triangle down on the right stick. This is what we're going to use against people who are throwing into the flats, who are throwing the quick routes under the middle. Tampa 2 is something we're going to use more so when we want them to kind of check it down, when we want them to take the 5 yards. We want to defend stuff just a little bit deeper. When we're trying to bait them into throwing quick, we want to go cover 3 and shade down, because now you'll see that, okay, if we try to throw it into this flat that was open before, well, it's covered now. They can't throw it there. So our Tampa 2 is what we use again when we want them to check down. We want them to get comfortable. Hey, I'll check it down. I'll take my 5 yards. Then that's when we switch up and go cover 3 and then say, you know what? We're going to shade down on you now. Now, you know, if you want to throw deep, cool, but look how quick the pressure came in. Again, use your Texas 4-man and you're going to be good to go. So if you just alternate between the Tampa 2 and the cover 3 while shading your cover 3 down, you're making it a lot harder on your opponents. You're still able to generate pressure, and you have 2 different styles of defense to take away different things. Now, I like the cover 3 shaded down more for beginners because I think it's going to provide you the best overall coverage for what you want to do as a beginner. But the Tampa 2 is also really good, and you don't want to sleep on this. Again, I like to go on this when I'm expecting them to try me a little bit deeper, because if they're going to do that, you know, that's what I like. I want to be back here just guarding my area and forcing them to have to take a check down or get sacked. And the other great thing about a double mug formation is it does give you the opportunity to bring a blitz as well. If you want to use mid blitz, which is always popular, this is a very easy blitz you can run. Now, this is going to be a lot riskier, and when we run this, what we're going to do is we're going to take the guy that's manned up on the running back, and we are going to have him in coverage. So if the running back goes out, we run with the running back. If he stays in the block, then we become a free roam over the middle, and we just try to stand in this little middle area. And if a slant or a drag comes, we want to try to get in front of that and make a play on it. But this is just if we want to kind of guarantee pressure on somebody, if we know that they're not likely to block their running back. Okay, I'm going to take the running back here, and we see that we get quick pressure off the edge and everybody's manned up. Now, this isn't going to be something I'm going to suggest that you run a whole lot as a beginner. This is more of a play that you should just mix in from time to time throughout the game to try to catch them off guard. But you want to play bend don't break with your Tampa 2 and cover 3 as a beginner player. It's just going to allow you to be in a safe spot where you're going to force them to have to make the right read every play. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to have your field wide open. You don't want to be running blitzes every play where you could give up touchdowns. You want to make them have to throw the correct read every play. And then occasionally you sneak in the blitz to try to catch him off guard because you're not doing it a whole lot, so they're not expecting it. Now, for under center formations, if you're trying to stop the run or just people that like to stay under center, which is not something you really encounter as much as shotgun players, but you can still stay in that double mug formation, which you would think wouldn't be the best against the run, but if you use it a certain way, it can be. So I think the safe thing to do is to call a cover 3, still shade down. You don't really need to run your stunts if you're going against under center as much, because if you're just trying to stop the run, I think it's best to just kind of leave it as it is. And what you want to do is you just want to follow the running back with your safety. You want to come down with your safety and make a play. I won't even suggest going for a hit stick. Just go for a wrap-up tackle. It's a lot easier, but you can defend the run pretty well with this, but this is something you have to just practice getting better with, because you're going to be required to come down with your safety and make a tackle, but it's really not that hard. And really, as a beginner, truthfully, you got to mess up before you can get better. You have to become comfortable using, because it's one of the best ways that you can improve at this game. You need to be able to be comfortable making some plays yourself. I'm not saying you have to be a pro and you have to make all the plays and you have to jump all over the field, but you have to be comfortable taking away one route or trying to get in the hole and meet the running back there to help stop the run. Now, if they're passing the ball under center, for example, if you're down here with the safety, you might not want to be on a safety if they're passing the ball. You might get nervous, because if you're going to stay on the safety, you got to get back, because you can't leave this middle of the field open. But what you can do, this is a really cool little trick. If you notice that they're dropping back and they're passing, you can flick the right stick down one time and that'll put you on a linebacker. It's called switch sticking. Now, professional players use switch sticking a lot more advanced. They jump all over the field. I'm not saying to do that at all here. I don't even do that too much myself because, you know, it's very advanced. But if you notice that they're passing the ball, flick it down one time, get on one of these linebackers, and then the safety will manually drop back into coverage himself. Now, one last thing that I'm going to highly recommend you do as a beginner is, outside of watching the previous video to learn some of the basic stuff, another thing you could do on the main menu is go to the training camp selection, go over to skills trainer. They've updated it this year and it is a lot better. This will literally teach you every mechanic you need to know in the game now. They have finally made the skills trainer actually good. So it'll show you what's new in Madden also, but what you want to do is go over to this beginner tab here and you can see there's about 24 different tutorials. Now, some of these you may already know, like I'm sure you know how to sprint, you probably know how to juke, but if there's some of these that you don't know how to do, for example, like maybe how to do a read option, it'll tell you how to do it here. And there's a bunch of these different tutorials. And then you can also tab over with the RB or R1 button and you can see you have offense, defense, and special teams. And if you go down here, it'll have tabs on them that say beginner and say advanced. So if you're doing the beginner tutorials or you know some of this stuff, then jump over and look at some of the advanced stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to know some more advanced tips to take your game to an even higher level, make sure to check out this video right here on the screen.